Imagine the sheer terror of two dedicated National Guard members suddenly ambushed in the heart of our nation's capital, just steps from the White House. It's a nightmare that hits close to home for anyone who values the safety of those who protect us. What drove a man who once fought alongside American forces to turn his weapon on them? Stick around as we unpack this heartbreaking case that's left everyone asking tough questions. Rahmanullah Lakanwal, a 29-year-old Afghan immigrant living in Bellingham, Washington, has now been officially indicted for murder in a tragic shooting that claimed the life of one service member and left another fighting for his. This incident unfolded on November 25, right as the holiday rush was kicking off, turning a routine patrol into chaos just blocks from the president's residence. Lakanwal, who himself was wounded in the exchange, made his first court appearance from his hospital room via video link on Tuesday, looking frail in a hospital gown and propped up under a blanket as he recovered from injuries inflicted by a fellow Guard member who intervened during the attack. With the help of a Pashto interpreter to bridge the language gap, Pashto being one of the main languages spoken in Afghanistan, prosecutors laid out the serious accusations against him. He's facing a single count of first-degree murder for the death, plus 2 counts of assault with intent to kill for the attacks on both victims, and an additional charge for carrying a firearm during what authorities describe as a violent crime. For those new to legal terms, this means he's accused not just of pulling the trigger, but of doing so with deliberate intent to end lives, which could lead to life in prison if convicted. Lakanwal, represented by a public defender since he couldn't afford private counsel, entered a plea of not guilty, denying any wrongdoing right from the start. During the hearing, there was a poignant moment when Lakanwal, speaking through the interpreter, expressed his discomfort. "I can't open my eyes, and my ear is hurting badly." It was a stark reminder of the human cost on all sides, even as the focus stayed on the victims. Assistant U.S. Attorney Ariel Dean painted a vivid picture for the court, calling it a shocking crime that struck around 2 p.m. the day before Thanksgiving, the start of rush hour when streets are buzzing with people heading home for the holidays. This timing amplified the public safety concerns, as it happened in a high-traffic area teeming with potential bystanders. The targets were Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, just 20 years old, and U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, 24, both from the West Virginia National Guard. For context, the National Guard is a reserve force that steps up for domestic duties like these high-visibility patrols, which are essentially visible security walks to deter threats and reassure the public in sensitive spots like D.C. Authorities say the pair were caught off guard, literally ambushed, in what seemed like a targeted strike. Beckstrom tragically didn't survive, succumbing to her wounds, while Wolf remains in critical condition, clinging to life after the ordeal. Fresh insights into the assault came to light Tuesday when officials released the sealed criminal complaint against Lakanwal, revealing him as a married man and father of 5, which adds layers of complexity to his story. How does someone with a family end up here? According to the document, Lakanwal fired at Beckstrom from behind in a cowardly move, and even after being shot himself, he desperately tried to reload his weapon before being tackled. The D.C. medical examiner's autopsy confirmed she was struck once in the back of the head, a detail that's as heartbreaking as it is grim, underscoring the sudden and fatal nature of the shot. Wolf suffered a similar devastating injury, a gunshot to the head, that left him severely hurt. Eyewitnesses shared chilling accounts with investigators. As the 2 guardsmen collapsed, Lakanwal reportedly yelled, "Allahu Akbar," the Arabic phrase that simply means, "God is great," and is often used in prayers by Muslims worldwide. But in this violent context, it raises eyebrows and fuels speculation about deeper motives. More on that controversy in a bit. And this is the part most people miss. Surveillance video from the scene captures Lakanwal rounding a corner with his hands up in what looks like a classic shooter's pose, unleashing fire on the unsuspecting patrol. The Guard member who shot him in self-defense noted that Lakanwal's .357 Smith & Wesson revolver appeared to be out of ammo at that point, prompting his frantic reload attempt. Once downed, a civilian witness and nearby Secret Service officers in uniform rushed in to restrain him, ensuring he was taken into custody without further harm. It's a testament to quick thinking that potentially saved more lives that day. In D.C. Superior Court, Magistrate Judge Renee Raymond didn't mince words, ordering Lakanwal held without bail until at least January 14 to keep the community safe during the holidays and beyond. She pointed out the evidence strongly. it's pretty evident he traveled 3,000 miles across the country, armed to the teeth, with a clear mission in his sights. She highlighted video showing him lurking in plain daylight, then charging toward the group of officers, including our fallen and wounded heroes, before opening fire. For beginners, this kind of no-bond ruling means the judge sees him as a serious flight risk or danger, based on the premeditated vibe of the whole thing. But here's where it gets controversial: the motive is still a puzzle under active investigation, with no clear answers yet. Sources close to the case have whispered to ABC News that the FBI is probing this as possible international terrorism, wondering if it was spurred by some overseas extremist group. That said, there's zero public proof linking Lakanwal to any such outfit right now, and no terror charges on the table. Could it be something more personal, or is there a bigger plot we're not seeing? Diving into his background, Lakanwal isn't a stranger to U.S. operations. He previously collaborated with American agencies as part of a partnered force in Kandahar, Afghanistan, a hotspot for counterterrorism efforts. That role wrapped up in 2021 amid the messy U.S. pullout, leaving many allies in limbo. CIA Director John Ratcliffe has been vocal about it, stating bluntly, "This guy, and countless others like him, should never have been permitted to enter our country." It's a fiery opinion that stirs up debates on immigration and vetting processes for former partners. Sources in the know reveal he was part of the Elite Zero Unit, a squad that teamed up tightly with the CIA and Joint Special Operations Command to hunt high-value terror targets. He was considered reliable back then, which makes his alleged actions now all the more baffling, like a trusted ally turning foe overnight. On top of that, investigators have uncovered signs of personal turmoil, financial woes from an expired work permit that cut off his income, hinting at desperation. There's also talk of a potential mental health breakdown, which isn't uncommon for those who've endured war's trauma but often gets overlooked in the rush to label threats. Adding another wrinkle, probes are examining if the recent passing of an Afghan commander he worked with, and deeply admired, pushed him over the edge emotionally. Losing a mentor in such circumstances could trigger profound grief, especially for someone far from home without support networks. As ABC News reported in detail, these stresses paint a picture of a man unraveling, but does that excuse the violence? This story tugs at so many threads: terrorism fears, immigration policies, mental health support for veterans and immigrants alike, and the risks our guard faces daily. One controversial take: was Lakanwal a victim of a broken system that brought him here only to abandon him, or a calculated threat we should have spotted sooner? What do you think? Should we tighten vetting for Afghan allies, or invest more in their post-arrival support to prevent tragedies like this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear if you agree, disagree, or have another angle altogether. Let's keep the conversation going respectfully.